The Robo-FTP framework can be controlled directly from your web browser, but it also offers a powerful REST web API that you can use to stop and start jobs, disable schedules, create entirely new jobs, and more. In this short demonstration, I will walk you through some common tasks that you can accomplish through the REST API. For starters, each job has a history, which consists of a number of run IDs. You can obtain the history for any given job by issuing an HTTP GET request to the framework hostname and port name, API, job, history, group name, job name. As you can see, we get back a list of IDs for all runs of that particular job in JSON format. Here we have job runs 15, 27, and 28 in this case. You can also list all available jobs within a group by issuing an HTTP GET request to API, job, list by group, and the group name. In this case, we are using the default group again, and we get back a list of all job names, again in JSON format. The current status of the job can be retrieved by issuing a GET request to job status group name job name. This gives us back the last time the job was run, if ever, the previous result of the job run, the last run ID, and the current run ID, if the job is currently running. We can run a job on demand by issuing a post request to API job start group name job name. In this case, we get a HTTP 200 OK status back indicating success, and we also get back the run ID associated with that newly started run. If we check back, you can see that the job is currently running. Let's go ahead and prematurely stop this run of the job for now. We can do that by issuing a post request to API run stop and that run ID, which was 31. Once again, we get a 200 OK status back, and you'll see that the job was stopped as requested. A job schedule can also be enabled or disabled as needed. If we load up this job, you can see that the next run is scheduled for July 10th. Now, the interface is similar to our stop and start calls. It's also going to be a post request. In this case, it's API job disable group name job name. And if we check back, the job is no longer scheduled to run at that time. And if you recall, we got 200 OK status back from previous API calls. The same is true here, 200 OK, indicating that the job was successfully disabled. We can now re-enable the job by issuing a post request to job enable group name job name. 200 OK is returned back, indicating that the job schedule is re-enabled. And once again, you can see after reloading that the schedule is back up to where it was before. You can retrieve the current configuration of the job, and you do that by issuing a GET request to job config group name job name. And here we get back a list of steps in JSON format, the step name and each individual configuration item for each step underneath it. Similarly, you can modify that very same job and send it back to the server for reconfiguration. And to do that, you submit a put request to this very same resource. As you can see, it's now a put. And we just send that document back, And we can make some changes while we're at it. So, for example, we can change the specification to look for all files instead of just, for all CSV files instead of just the all files signified by that star. Let's check the current configuration as is. So currently it is in fact already looking for a CSV. Let's change that to bin. And we do that by editing this JSON document slightly, sending it off. And if we reload, you'll see that it is now searching for bin files instead of CSV. Let's make a copy of this here. And paste that back in. So we can also create a new job, and we do that by just including a valid configuration in what will be a post request to job create group name dot job name. In this case, this is our new job name. We're going to call it Mr. Job, and it's going to be the same thing as before with another slight change. In this case, we're going to be looking for txt text files. If we send that off, we see that we get a 200 OK status back, indicating that the job was successfully created. And if we check back our jobs list, we see the new job here. If we examine it, you'll see that we are looking for text files according to our submitted configuration. Now, what we create, we can also destroy by issuing a post request to job delete group name dot job name. We can delete that new job. And once again, 200 OK status indicates success. And if we refresh, that job is no longer there. Bye-bye, Mr. Job. You will be missed. And there are some things we can also do with individual job runs. We can, for example, get the status for any particular run ID by issuing a GET request to API run status and then the run ID. Let's take a look at run ID 28. And we get back a JSON object containing the job name and group name and also the started and ended times for that job run. We also get the job result. Here it is 0, indicating it's a success for that run of the job. And the last thing we'll be covering is the steps processed by each run on each particular file. We do that by issuing a GET request to API run steps and again the run ID. And we get back a list of each individual step and associated file, along with the result, the source, and the target. This can be an intermediate target, as you see here. If this was a deliver step, then that would be the final resting destination of that file. And that's about it. That concludes our quick tour of the Framework REST API. Thanks for watching.